Yes, this week is the 3M Open, and we are going to talk about the 3M Open. But we are going to kick the show off today with a very important question. One that everyone's talking about, but we're going to answer it for you right now today. Who's having a better season, Scottie Scheffler or Xander Schauffele? Fairway to Heaven, we're live in 30 seconds. And a very good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fairway to Heaven right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you know the drill. Hit that like, share, subscribe, follow button, whichever platform you're watching on. Make sure you just tell one, tell all to make sure they get in the conversation as we're talking this week's 3M Open, recapping last week's Open Championship, and answering the question of the week in the golf world. How is Donald Trump such a good... No, I'm just kidding about that. Who is having a better season, Xander Schauffele or Scottie Scheffler? Because, yes, Xander Schauffele won his second major of the season by winning the Open Championship last week. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, as always. We got Jason Sullivan down below, and it's becoming so regular. Me and Jason were joking that maybe Steve's just the third member of our team now. Now we're going after the trios title here, not just the tag team titles. Steve Fuentes here. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the show tonight.
Such a poor intro for the show, but I'm here ready to talk about the 3M for sure.
Well, I thought my joke about Donald Trump's golf swing was going to be a pretty funny one because, yes, I did watch and suffer through 54 minutes of my life watching Bryson DeChambeau and Donald Trump try to break 50. So, yeah, I did suffer. It was for research purposes, and I just thought it was funny. But, I know you dislike it. Steve, how you doing today?
I'm doing good for research purposes. If it's for research purposes only, then it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. It was for research. I have no desire to watch Donald Trump play golf. None whatsoever. But it's research, Research is important.
Always, especially coming in on the end of the season. We only got two more. In between, we got the Olympics and then two more events. So getting towards the end. So we need it for research purposes.
Yeah. Can you guys realize and believe that we are literally 2 weeks of actual regular season golf left, and then the FedEx Cup Playoffs start? We literally only have 5 weeks of shows left, counting this week. Like, that's it to the season. I know the offseason's short. We'll do some sporadic Fairway to Heavens throughout the offseason, but, I can't believe that this season's almost over. And we'll get into the topic of the day in the 3M Open in a little bit. But as a little precursor to getting to that, this week's a really important week of golf. There's only 2 more weeks for you to qualify and lock up your spot in the FedEx Cup. And I think it's good, but it's also weird with the whole new rule that only the top 70 golfers make the playoffs versus what they used to be, 115 or 120 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Like, it's kind of made this week and next week at the Wyndham Championship so much more important for those guys in the 50 to 90 range to try to get themselves into the playoffs. And I think it's a good segue to talk about Scottie Scheffler versus Xander Schauffele because of the importance that has been put on these so-called elevated events, more FedEx Cup points to the winner. If you win one of those events versus the 3M, what do you value more, in a season when you're determining who is the player of the year? And I know there's still a few more weeks left and the playoffs, but the question is, was Xander Schauffele winning the second major of the year by winning the Open Championship in very anticlimactic? It was a very boring final, hour or two of the Open Championship. Scottie Scheffler has only won one major, but he's won 6 events this year. Jason, we'll start with you with this question. Who has had a better season, and why are you choosing that based off of weighing 2 majors versus 1 and a bunch of other events in smaller fields?
It's so close. So I started thinking about this question over the weekend, and I started thinking Xander. And I know that that's crazy, but then I started really looking at the stats a little bit, and it's so close. I mean, I'm just going to read you just little snippets of the stats so far. So Xander has 17 tournaments played, 2 wins, both majors, obviously. So that's huge time. He has 12 top 10s in 17 events. That's unbelievable.
That's a lot. That's a lot of top 10s.
Scottie Scheffler, on the other hand, 16 tournaments played, 6 wins, like you said, 14 top 10s. So Scottie Scheffler's only not been in the top 10 twice the entire year. That's wild. So I feel like Scottie's got him by a little bit, but obviously way the majors more. So it's really close, I think. It really is.
Steve, you can answer this in a second, but does it change? Do the wins change? Does the elevated events change the victory? Because, he's beaten an elite field every single week, Scottie Scheffler, but they're 70-person fields. They're no-cut fields. Most of them were. Does that weigh in at all when you're discussing this topic? Because, I get what Jason's saying, but also, Xander won 2 elite fields of 150-plus people. His 2 wins came in 2 very, very difficult events that were full-fledged fields with live golfers, with European golfers, with everybody in it, amateurs, everything. So what's your answer? And do the field sizes and type of events matter when you're trying to judge this?
I was just like Jason too over the weekend. I was like, dang, okay. Well, for every other sport, we count rings, So in golf, essentially majors are the rings, right? So
okay.
But then Jason's rattling these stats off, and then I'm looking at Scottie's season. He had 2 back-to-back wins separately throughout. So those sort of things, Xander has the 2 majors, but he didn't even come out and after the first major, he didn't compete the next week. And so Scottie came out the next week, and after the Players, which a lot of people consider that 5th major, that's another thing. It was such a long time ago. I forget that was one of the tournaments that he won. And the week before that, it was Arnold Palmer. So I kind of just talked myself out of it, listening to Jason in the first few minutes that, I still want to give Xander his flowers, but, now that I'm really, really diving in and looking at it, it's got to be Scottie. Not by much anymore, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's by much. And look, and again, I agree with you guys. I think Scottie wins by a hair because just 6 wins. And let me give you something here. In the modern era, I'm just going back the last 25, 30 years, whatever you want to go by. The most wins in a season, Tiger Woods won 9 events in 2000. Now, I don't think Scottie Scheffler can get there because he's not going to play this week. So, I guess if he played next week and he won each event in the playoffs, I guess he could theoretically get there with 4 more events that he could enter. But Tiger Woods in 2000 and Vijay Singh in 2004. I kind of forgot how great 2004 was for Vijay Singh, winning 9 events. And then Tiger Woods won 8 events multiple times. Just goes to show how great. So 6 wins. If Scottie Scheffler won 2 more events, which the odds are he's going to be the favorite in every event the rest of the year that he plays in, obviously, that puts you in elite, special air where not many people do it. Let me look at this real quick here. Even Jack Nicklaus never won 8 events in a season. Arnold Palmer did it twice. Byron Nelson back in 1944 did it. Horton Smith, whoever the hell that is, in 1929 did it. Yeah, Byron Nelson won 18 events in 1945, but that's going a long, long way back, and golf was a little different back then. Winning 6 events is special. It's that special. But winning 2 majors, how many Scottie Scheffler, for being the best player in the world, has only won 2 majors, and they've both been the Masters. He's never won a U.S. Open or a PGA Championship or an Open Championship. Events like the Masters has 90 guys in it? Again, another field that's smaller, more condensed. And I'm not saying Scottie Scheffler can't win a big field. He has won big fields that were non-majors before. But if this is the question, if Scottie Scheffler's elevated event wins were in full fields, would he have won those events? If you would have thrown 40 more golfers in there, a cut, a little bit more pressure that, you're You're competing against more guys. We've seen a lot of random guys come from nowhere to win this year. Would he have 6 wins if they were all 150 person open fields? That's something that you have to take into account. The size of the fields that Xander won in his 2 events. That's just the argument that I could come up with for Xander Schauffele.
And that's a good one too. I think. Well, first off, let's touch on the wins for Scottie. He's not going to play the Wyndham, I don't think, because he's playing in the Olympics next week. So he's going to be going to Paris next week, and so is Xander. So they're probably both not going to play the week after that. So I don't know. I see your point, but I feel like Scottie, when he was rolling, I mean, would he have like all those wins in a row? Would he have like 5 of 6 at one point? Like,
yep.
I don't think anybody would have touched him. And the thing is, like, they're not either one of them aren't struggling in these big fields. Like, I mean, the fact that one has 12 top 10s, the other one has 14 top 10s, and they only play 16, 17 tournaments. I mean, they're right there. I don't remember, I guess, since I've been doing like PGA DFS, of 2 guys that are just like auto top 10s every time they play.
Yeah. It is auto top 10s. Go ahead, Steve.
And I was going to say too, like the, dang, I forgot what I was going to say. No, Xander's, I totally, no, I'm lost it. Go ahead. No, because I was thinking about what Jason was saying. I can't remember. I had something.
Yeah, that happens to me at least 3 times an episode in the morning because you just start rambling and you lose your train of thought. It's all good. I was hoping one of you would have taken Xander so I didn't have to go about it because I was trying to bring the other side to the argument. It's very hard to make the case, but the only thing I can say is Xander's 2 wins came in 2 completely different styles of events, 2 completely different style of courses, 2 completely different things. He also, like I said, he beat every live golfer twice this year. He beat every DP Tour guy at the Open Championship. He conquered, a PGA Championship, but he also conquered like one of the most difficult links courses. I mean, this weekend at the Open Championship at Royal Troon, I mean, it was a difficult course. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it this past weekend. They put together the worst score over the 4 days at every single hole. And it totaled up to like 125 or 129 or something like that. There were 9s at least on like 9 different holes this past week. Tony Finau, I think it was, had 2 10s in the second round. Yeah. 2 holes where he shot a 10 on. Okay? Like, that's the kind of course and field that Xander just beat.
I felt kind of bad for Finau, though. He got the absolute shittiest draw with the win possible. Like, he played in literally the worst conditions possible. And
outside of those 2 holes, he makes the cut.
Yeah. To go back to your point, though, like Xander on Sunday especially was just like, he was making it look easy. Like, it was looking like Scottie did in a couple tournaments at the beginning of the year when it's like everybody else is struggling, these wind gusts. Yeah, the wind wasn't crazy on Sunday, but there were still wind gusts. It's like everybody else was feeling it off the tee. He just like pipes it down the fairway every single time. He's putting his approaches to 4 feet, 6 feet. It's like he made it look so easy on Sunday.
How many golfers have won 2 majors in the? I didn't Google search this before the show. How many golfers have won 2 majors or more in a season? Tiger Woods, obviously, not Scottie Scheffler. Brooks may have. He may have won a PGA.
Didn't he?
Did he win 2 back-to-back? I was thinking he did.
The same year. Yeah,
I think so. So Brooks Koepka, Tiger Woods, like the list of 2 majors in a season is very, very, very small. Rory's never done it. That I'm aware of. John Rahm hasn't done it. Dustin Johnson, I doubt's done it. Dustin Johnson's not what he used to be, but at one point he was the Scottie Scheffler on the PGA Tour. Like, the list of people that win 2 majors is just as small as the list of golfers that win 6 times in a season. And that's why I'm just trying to make sure we give Xander the props he deserves by saying it's not a clear-cut 110% Scottie Scheffler's having the better season, because to do what Xander has done, considering coming into this year, we on the first for multiple times early in the season, Xander Schauffele, the best golfer to never win a major. And now he's got 2 in 1 season. So I don't want what Xander's accomplishments were this year to be pushed aside because of what Scottie Scheffler has also accomplished.
So it's actually been accomplished 33 times, which is more than I thought it would have been.
Wow. Okay.
A lot.
Just in recent years, obviously Xander this year. Brooks in 2018 won the U.S. Open and the PGA. Spieth in 2015 won the Masters and the U.S. Open. Tiger did it 4 times, I believe. And Jack Nicklaus did it 5 times in his career.
Okay, so only 4 golfers have done it, like in the recent, like memory. You know what I mean?
24
Like
years, the last 25 years. Yeah.
take Tiger and Jack Nicklaus, the two greatest golfers. Like that's the Michael Jordan, LeBron conversation. Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. Take them out of it. Jordan Spieth, Brooks Koepka, and Xander Schauffele.
So Tiger in 2000 actually won.
Padraig Harrington.
Yeah, because he won 4 in a row. He had the Tiger Slam wraparound there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like it's just like to do what Xander has done this year is a pretty damn rare. I don't know what is more rare than by thinking about that. 6 wins in a season has been done before a bunch of times. 8 has been done a bunch of times. 2 or more majors has only been done 3 times outside the 2 greatest golfers of all time. That just kind of maybe puts it in a little bit more perspective.
It's hard to compare, I think, a little bit because it's almost like comparing like the greatest of all time basketball players. Like it's a different era for number one, and I think it's the field's a lot deeper now than it used to be. I think so. It's a little bit harder. Not saying that what Tiger did wasn't amazing, but like there's a lot more quality golfers right now than there were then.
100%.
But it's obviously it's an amazing feat, and like the fact that like we think either one of these guys when they play and they like Scottie, I'm like, oh, he didn't play that well. Like he finished T7. Like he still played well. He just didn't play great on Sunday. And it's like, I don't know. It's so tough in this day and age, I feel like, to win. And like we've seen it with Xander, where it's like 2 months ago we were talking about like, dude, this guy is so close and he just can't win. Like, is he? We were making fun of like he doesn't have the killer instinct. He's not the killer. He just doesn't have it. Well, he got the monkey off his back, and now he won another one already. So
now that he won 2, is there a chance that Xander Schauffele is like the lid's just going to come off and Xander Schauffele in 3 years will be doing this show and Xander Schauffele might have 5 or 6 majors? Like he's that talented that he could go on one of those runs and he could theoretically win every major. He could have a career Grand Slam. Here's a question. Can Xander Schauffele get the career Grand Slam before Jordan Spieth or Rory McIlroy? Can Xander Schauffele win another major before Scottie Scheffler? Like that's the kind of air now that he's got 2 that you got to start putting next to Xander Schauffele's name, Steve.
And then imagine he goes out and wins gold for the second time.
Right.
And you can add 2 gold medals to a resume like that. And who else has something like that? So and I remember what I was going to say was the field. You mentioned the fields for Scotties. They were no cuts for a lot of those, where you're kind of like you say, you're losing that excitement of it, but you never know. But he was so far in that stretch of better than everyone. But Xander, the fields, these 150 sites fields where you're bringing guys in from all over, many different tours too, who are killing it on those tours. And for what Jason said, that the killer instinct coming in, he did it on Sunday where maybe that first major for a PGA championship, he got that monkey off his back where it's like, hey, I got nothing else to lose. Let me go out there and just swing for it. And he did on Sunday. It was that was kind of incredible to see with the weather and everything like that.
I will say too, I'm just happy that both these guys are on our team for the Olympics next week. So
I mean, I still would like to see Bryson DeChambeau on the Olympic team too, but you know, he couldn't break 50 with Donald Trump. So I don't know. Maybe my opinion swayed since he just rode around a golf cart for an hour YouTube video with Donald Trump, but that's for another day. Anyway, guys, I gotta just make sure Jason knows that I'm not a Trumper, like you texted me earlier. Anyway, guys, let's get into this week. So like I said, the 3M Open, because of the new top 70 only getting in the FedEx Cup standings, this week and next week with the Wyndham Championship are 10 times more important than normal years. And that's why you see it's still a pretty weak field, but still a slightly better field than normal at this event. And this event, like I'm just looking at the FedEx Cup standings, guys that are just below the top 70 right now. Lucas Glover's at 71st. You got Lee Hodges, who's a former PGA winner, Adam Schenk, Keith Mitchell, Kirk Kitayama. There's names here that have had good seasons by basic golfer stance, that are on the outside looking in. Just inside the top 7. You got somebody like Davis Riley who won, Matt McNeely, who we always talk about, Brendan Todd, Nick Dunlop, inside the top 70, but barely. So this week is very important. They're in Minnesota, TPC Twin Cities. What's this? The 5th? They've had this for 5 years. This event. Jason, what do we know about TPC Twin Cities What kind of course is it, and what will you be zoning in on when you're picking your golfers this week?
I think the first thing that you think of when you think of this course is that it's going to be another one of these like easy courses, which on paper it is, but there's a lot of hazards on this course. I mean, over 7,400 yards, par 71 bent grass greens, huge greens, but there's 72 bunkers and 15 holes have water in them. I think there's 23 different water hazards on 15 holes. So like there's a lot of water. I mean, like if you're missing off the tee, and if you're missing into the rough, you'll be all right. But like if you miss wildly off here, you're going to be in the water all day. So that just screams like don't play Eric Van Ruin to me. But we'll get into that one later. But it's just anybody that hits the water a lot, there's a lot of water on this course. So it's not it's still a birdie fest, but it's not going to be like Detroit, I don't think, where it's just no penalties at all.
Steve, what are you looking at, if anything, different than what Jason just said?
The same thing, very similar. With all the water hazards, the major thing I'm going to be looking for is driving accuracy off the tee. And once you can get into position to attack the pins on this course, then you're golden. So second shot, third shot sort of golf course. The fairways, they're going to be lined with trees, so things like that here. And I was looking at the weather report. It looks like wind is going to be an issue for 3 out of the 4 days. So any of those guys from who played last weekend, they're going to have a little advantage here. But some of the par fives, they're reachable. So maybe if these bombers who are accurate off the tee are going to have like a slight advantage. So I know that like some guys like Sam Stevens and some of the models that I made kind of like hit well because of that alone. So definitely accuracy off the tee is like my main thing that I'm looking for.
So 2 questions I want to ask you guys and get your opinions on. One being the major hangover coming from, Scotland, having to go all the way to Minnesota, go from the pretty picturesque of Scotland links golf all the way across the world to Minnesota of all places. That's not a knock on my man Matt and his hometown of Minnesota. But is there ever taken into account any kind of hangover? Now, I know guys like Finau and Batella, popular names this week, they missed the cut. They got to get on over here a little quicker. But someone like Billy Horschel coming out and saying, yeah, no, I'm right out there at 7:30 a.m. on Tuesday grinding. Do you take into account jet lag, any of that, the guys that were in contention that are there this week? Do you think there's any ability for a letdown, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. Especially too, like what I'm looking for is those same guys. How many weeks in a row have they played also on top of that jet lag and everything? And then their current form in that. Was Billy Horschel just a 1 week thing? Because I know I'm not playing him this week at all. There's so many other better value picks and everything. But that's one thing that I'm looking for then too, is how many other weeks did they play going into these sort of 2 weeks?
Jason, thoughts on the following up a major, not just going from like the Masters, to somewhere like an hour or 2 away. We're talking a 10-hour, 12-hour flight plus, what's that, like 5-6 hours of a time zone change as well?
I think that's the biggest thing. I think the time zones, like, the flight, they're flying in comfort. Obviously, we know that, but like
absolutely
the time zone. I mean, it's a big difference. And then, like Steve said, a guy like Billy who was right there, I'm putting more into that. Just to try to stay away from a guy like that. Like, there's other guys that played over the weekend. Like Griot is one of them. Like he has really good course history here, but like he played over the weekend. He was like T43. Like he didn't really have a stressful weekend. So I think that you put that all into account. You can't really measure it, obviously, but you just put that into account a little bit. I think about like these guys that, I mean, Billy's right there. I mean, he was right on the brink of his first, Open championship, and then he kind of played like crap on Sunday. So I think you weigh it. For sure.
Scott, thanks for checking in. Make sure you hit that like and follow button. He's saying Scottie's having the better season than Xander. Give me descriptions why you say that. We've kind of moved on to this week's 3M Open, but love to get your opinion, Scott, in the comments on why you feel that way. The other thing I wanted to bring up about this week's 3M Open, when you're on a course like TPC Twin Cities, I forget the exact number. It's one of the smallest putting greens on tour on average on the whole course, compared to the rest. Does that make you weigh around the green a little bit more? Does that make you weigh your approach? Like when you have super small greens, Jason, what are you zoning in on? Because obviously you don't have to worry about like something like 3-putt avoidance. Like, yeah, you're going to be on the green and be within 20 feet right off the bat pretty much all the time. What are you zoning in on then? Getting the ball as close to the green as or the hole as possible, or the guys that are around the green, the best.
It's weird because around the green actually popped a little bit here for me. Because the greens are big here, I didn't think that it would pop as much as it did, but it did pop a little bit. I think, I don't know. You're still going to weigh approach, I think, more than anything, and especially the guys that are good with their long irons. That's what I'm going to be weighing more than anything. I think it's like 40% of shots come from 175 to 200, and then 200 plus. I mean, that's a big chunk of approach shots.
Absolutely, Steve. What do you think about having a course with such small greens? How you weigh it?
Approach, just like Jason was saying, and for me, it's really in that 175 to 200 range, and because then those guys, you're going to be able to attack these pins then from that range, and then it comes how well are these guys putting, and because it's going to be a birdie fest. So if you can be good on approach, the numbers for this course, you're going to be in the 20 under, 20, 22 under. So those sort of scores on this sort of course, that's what I'm looking at.
I'm thinking with the wind, it might be a little bit lower than that, but we'll see. I was thinking like 17, 18, 19, which is still a low score, obviously. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the field. Obviously, there's only 3 names in that upper echelon, 10K and above. Tony Finau, who missed the cut last week, Sahith Theegala, and Sam Burns. Obviously, Tony Finau is the most popular name in this range. He's won this event before. If you're going to play one of these top names, in my opinion, you just accept the chalk and play Tony Finau, in my opinion. Is that, Jason, I see you shaking your head. Do you agree? You just accept the chalk if you feel the need to play one of these guys?
I think he's by far the easiest click of any of these guys, for sure. I mean, Theegala has been brutal here, so that's not even a consideration for me. Burns is interesting to me. I think he's played here twice. Yeah, T7 and a T32, so pretty good course history overall. But like Finau, I mean, there's just some courses that dudes love, and I feel like this is one for Finau that he just absolutely loves. I'm just afraid the decision is not who am I going to play in the top range because it's Finau or nobody, I think. But like I'm seeing it was 20% earlier, it's 24 now. I mean, like it's just going to keep going up and up. And
I could see Tony Finau, and if you want to drop down to the 9K, Akshay Bhatia both getting into that 25, 30, 32. I would not be shocked if Tony Finau's 32% by lineups locking on Thursday morning.
I mean, they kind of botched it, I think, a little bit at the top. Like they should have put him at 11 at least. Like you put him at 10-5, and that's an easy click still. I mean, it's not hard to build a lineup with a 10-5 guy. So
Steve, are you in this? I saw you shaking your head when he mentioned Sam Burns. I love Sam Burns. Sam Burns is a great player, but I can't get behind Sam Burns this week. I'm just shocked that his ownership right now is projected at 12%, considering he seems like he should be a good play this week.
And that's kind of like where I'm at with the ownership, kind of like why I'm favoring him. But also, like I like Sam Burns in these low, where he's the top of the field sort of deal, where Tony Finau is going to be, like you said, such an easy click. And Sam Burns played pretty well. Entering, on Saturday and Friday, he played pretty well last week. I think he finished, right? 31st, tied for 31st. So he's going to be, I think, the easiest pick for people who want to fade. He's going to be the easiest fade option because of ownership, but he's putting well, and this is what you're going to need. And I feel like if this is where he's going to get a win, this is going to be the type of course in a field like this.
Okay. Into the night, I've done 3 lineups only so far. I clicked Tony Finau's name one time. I did not click Sam Burns. I did not click Sahith Theegala. But I did click a lot of, even though with the ownership at 9,800, Akshay Bhatia. It was also the first bet I made at 22-1. I think the 9K range has got some interesting stories. You got Bhatia trying to get his second win of the season. Billy Horschel coming up small on Sunday. Killer Keith. You got the amateur, still the amateur, Luke Clanton. You got Poston. You got newly minted captain Keegan Bradley. I think I saw something interesting. I forget who posted. It might have been who posted? I forget now. I wanted to give him credit. But they posted an interesting thing that Keegan Bradley might have more eyes on him now that he's the captain than ever before. And can he, does that throw more pressure on you that he's got more media availability to do and whatnot. Keegan seems like a good play this week, whatever. But does getting that captaincy of the the Ryder Cup, does that throw anything, to the mix when you're evaluating this 9K range, guys?
Not for me. I mean, he's not playing. He's gonna be the captain, which
Right.
obviously he'll get more attention for the next couple of years. But I'm not really factoring that in too much.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it,
No?
but I think maybe a little bit. Like when it comes to having to talk more, but I don't think it'll affect his game.
Well, look what all the extra attention did to Rory. I know it was a different situation being the front man to be anti-live. We saw what his golf game turned into because of that. So just throwing that out there. It's just a thought process, whatever. But Jason, in this 9K range, what names do you like? Who are you going with here?
You pretty much brought up the two that I think are the easiest clicks. Clanton has just been so good. I mean, how's
he not turned pro yet?
Right. That's what I was actually, when you said that, I was actually just thinking the same exact thing. And then Bethea. I mean, he's another guy where Batea's good in the wind. If it doesn't get windy, he's a good wind player. I mean, I'm using Rocket Mortgage as a comp for this. He was second. He should have won Rocket Mortgage. So Bethea is my favorite in this range for sure. But Clanton's hard not to play too. I feel like you got to kind of pick and choose a little bit in this range because it's going to be so chalky.
Absolutely. Steve, where are you at in the 9K range?
I like JT Poston. He's one of the only guys who like, but him, Tony Finau, and a few others who I like later on in different ranges who have made it every single cut that they've played. And he's got great course history because of it. I think he finished in the top 10 last year for it.
It's like second,
so
11th or something.
Yeah. So like he's probably going to be chalky, but he's who I'm looking at in the 9K range.
Okay, gotcha. In the 8K range, again, some interesting names: Tom Hoagie, Cam Davis, Matt McNeely, the other one that went pro and stopped being an amateur, Nick Dunlop. You already mentioned his name, Jason. Eric Van Ruin. Ruin. I'm trying to do a Stewie impersonation. It's just not working here. Talk about Eric Van Ruin or anybody else in this range, Jason.
I love this range. I have a lot of guys that I like in this range. My favorite play in this range by far is Cam Davis. He's just been playing really good golf recently. He's done really well here. So he's made 4 out of 5 cuts and then 3 of them are top 16. So I like him. Obviously, he won Rocket Mortgage, so that's a comp course for sure. He won that course. His game just fits this course perfectly. So I like him a lot. My second favorite is probably Griot. He made the cut over the weekend and he played, but like I said, he was like T43 or something. So not a super high finish, no pressure really or anything like that. He has really good course history here too. And some guys just click on certain courses, and it seems like we've talked about a few of them already. Poston and Finau, and Griot's another one too. So Griot and Davis are my 2 favorites.
Gotcha. Steve, what do you got going on this range here?
Patrick Rogers, he's my favorite in this range. He just came up. He got 5th place at Barracuda last week. And 34th, 31st in the last in John Deere, Rocket Mortgage, and then the other guy who I like is Dunlap. He just won, so I don't know if there's going to be the hangover from the Barracuda, but I know these sort of when the field is weak like this, these are sort of times where these guys shine, and I think the Barracuda got really like overshadowed with the U.S. Open as it usually does, but those 2 are my names in this range.
Gotcha. I went with Patrick Rogers a bunch in my lineup builds as well, just like you, Steve. I did click once on Tom Hoagie. Tom Hoagie should be a better golfer or have better results. Like his golf game is really good. He just doesn't have the results. I'm thinking a weaker field to throw a little stab at Tom Hoagie isn't the worst idea. But I didn't go with much in the 6 or 8K range because I love the 7K range. I think there's some great names, great plays especially the middle of the 7K range. Kip Chang Kim. How do you say his name? Rico Hoy? Is it Hoy or Hoy?
I think it's
Hoy.
Hoy. And then so I like those 2 guys a lot, and I like Johnny Vegas a lot this week as well. He popped in my model, so I did a little bit of a deeper dive on how his season's been going since he returned from injury. So I like that 7,600 range a lot this week. So it gave me the opportunity to play a lot of Bethea, Finau, Clanton, stuff like that, and then sit in the 7K range because, like you said, Jason, they mispriced Finau, they mispriced Bethea a little bit. So in the 7K range, Steve, do you like any of those names, or do you got different names you're looking at in that range?
I do like Rico Hoey for sure. And then Harry Hall. Harry Hall has been playing really well. He won a few weeks ago at the ISCO. He took the week off. He's got one of the best putters on course. And then Austin Eckroat. He for me, the win that he had at the Cosmic, I can't pronounce it, Cosmicson.
Cognizant.
For me, that's the most.
Hold on, you're not cognizant of how to pronounce cognizant?
No, that's bad, man. I can't. I'm really bad. Pat's the same way, so that's why him and I we work so well in the attacking third together. But that course has really like a good comp for me, and he won that one, and that was a while ago. So it's not like there's going to be any hangover or anything. So those two names, Eckroat and Harry Hall, for me.
Gotcha, Jason. What do you got?
I like Harry Hall too. That I think that's a sneaky play this week because I think he's going to go a little bit under the radar. The only thing that worries me about that is his Vegas is not like him this week at all, which made me kind of like give a little double think to that one. But I like him too for the most part. I was just worried when a guy's like seems undervalued in the his odds. And that's what I'm worried about with Hall a little bit this week. But I like him. Chan Kim is the other one. I mean, I think it's like T12, T10, T12, and T29 in his last 3 weeks. Like he's just another guy that can feast on these easier courses. He's a birdie maker. So I like Chan Kim for sure.
Gotcha. I didn't really dig deep into the 6K range because I really didn't need it this week. I did put a little bit of a click on Joel Damon's name down there at 6,800. But outside of that, I didn't feel the need. Again, I'm not doing as many lineups as normally this week, but I didn't feel with that 7K range where it was the need in this weaker field to dip down and try to find some value like a Lanto Griffin or a Justin Lauer or anything like that. Davis Riley, who won earlier this year. Like, do you guys have any interest in playing any of these 6K guys? Or is this a week where you just try to stick to the middle, stick balanced, and don't try to reach and stretch too far and too thin, Steve?
I have a few lineups where I took two guys in the 6K so that I can take Finau and Burns. And in those ones, I took Baddeley and Bryce Garnett just because of their course history, and they're two of the other guys who they've made the cut every single time that they've played this course. So those two for me for 6K.
Gotcha. Jason?
I'll be honest with you. I don't like anybody in the 6Ks. I'm not going to play anybody below 7. I'm going to.
Yeah. I went one click on Joel Damon just because I like Joel Damon and, you know, whatever. But I agree. I get what you're saying, Steve, on your guys. And the course history does matter to an extent. I didn't find the need to dip too far. So I didn't go that far there. So I
have fun playing a lot of lineups on these sort of weak courses and like the hangover afterwards, because I feel like a lot of people forget it, and it's like, you know what? Let me get in here and see if I can possibly maybe win one with a crazy ass lineup.
I mean, you got to differentiate yourself. You got to be different. I mean, we talked about that 6-7K range, but guys like Chan Kim and Hui, I mean, you're talking 15, 16, 17% for those guys. You know, right now, which could be closer to 20 because what we see in Kim and Hui, I mean, everybody else is seeing it as well. You know what I mean? So, you know, we're not, you know, reaching too hard with those names there. It's not like we're talking about a name that nobody else is talking about there. So it does get, I am concerned that some of my lineups this week, Jason, I know you're a big ownership guy. I'm concerned that I've got too much chalk in the same lineups, like going with Batea and Hui and Kim and all these guys together. It's going to put me in a spot where it's very difficult to differentiate myself.
You just got to get different in a spot or two. That's what I always say. It's like, I think so much is put into ownership and like, oh, I can't play so-and-so if he's this much, and I can't play so-and-so with so-and-so. It's like, if you have one or two, like, I'm not going to say random, but weird, unique guys, like that makes your lineup different. So just be mindful of it, I think. Because that's the thing. I did my research this week, and I clicked on like 8 or 9 guys before I checked ownership, and I'm like, okay, these are the guys that everybody likes. like the Hui, like the Clanton, like all these guys. It's like, that's exactly who everybody else likes too. So just be mindful of it.
I mean, you could go. I mean, I'm going through even the 7K range. I'm just looking for the guys, the lowest owned guys is high up the board. Tristan Lawrence, who didn't Lawrence like lead the Open at one point this weekend? You know, he's at 1% ownership at 7,400. Where's the other one I saw? Bo Hostler. Didn't he win earlier this year? 2% ownership right now. Like, there, Justin Rose. Didn't even talk about him. He made a run this weekend. He's just over 2% projected ownership.
I think he's out. I think he withdrew.
I think he dropped out.
Maybe that didn't get updated on the Fantasy National page. I was looking at the Fantasy National ownership page, and maybe they just haven't gotten updated yet. But maybe that's why his ownership dropped down so low. But find someone to be a little different. Jason, how did we do on our lineups last week? Because I know, like most, I had a horrendous week last week. I had 10 lineups. I had 1 6 for 6. I had like 3 2 for 6s and a bunch of 4 for 6s. And I know our team, our group lineup here, I was a 2 for 6 in that. And I know it was pretty atrocious last week.
Steve blew the field out of the water. All of us, me, you, and Scotty, none of us broke 200, and Steve broke 300. So we're we're chasing Steve these days.
Yeah, we're always chasing Steve. Steve's always the best now. So what's that put? How many of the guests up to? 6 wins now?
Yeah, guests are up to 6 wins. I have 11 still, and you have 10. I have not won in a very long time.
So Steve, we're just gonna have to keep you on for the rest of the season to see if you can overtake Jason here. 5 more weeks, you could tie Jason if you win the next 5 events. You know what I mean?
So
no pressure. No pressure.
He's gonna pick his or where he wants to go today first.
Yeah, Steve, where do you want to pick here? First, second, or third?
I'll go first.
Okay,
Steve's going first.
Phil's gonna pick. Where do you want to pick?
I'll take third.
Okay, and then I'll go second. You want to do an ad read in the first or no?
Oh shoot! I totally forgot about ad reads today. I'm sitting here having so much fun with you guys. I totally forgot that I got producing jobs here to do here. Thanks for helping me out, producer, right there. I appreciate it there. Guys, we do have some great sponsors here. First and foremost, SherryTickets.com. Great moments don't just happen. They happen with you in the crowd. SherryTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. Make sure you visit their website, and when you check out, use promo code EOP10 at checkout. It saves you an additional 10%. None of this seeing a $50 ticket. You get to check out. It's $200. Not at SherryTickets.com. If you need a personal touch, you can call them 610-494-5050. And just make sure you let them know EOP sent you. Guys, you can get concert tickets, theater tickets, not just sporting events. I'm sure you can even get golf events. And it's not just in the Philadelphia area. This is everywhere. SherryTickets.com. Make sure you check them out. And, of course, our great friends at PhillySportsTrips.com. Obviously, they got the great package to go to Brazil to see the Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers week 1 of the NFL season. But they also do a lot of other great things. Italian Heritage Celebration at Citizens Bank Park with legend of the Phillies, Mickey Morandini, will be at the tailgate right there. So make sure you check that out. Or you can go to spring training next year to see our defending World Series champion Phillies kick off the 2025 season. I'm glad you laughed at that one, Jason. I like that. And all of our other great Eagles takeover trips, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, which will be a bus trip, and, of course, Dallas week in November. You can go on down there and tell Dallas Cowboys fans, what you really think of them. Make sure you check them out, PhillySportsTrips.com. You know what? I'm just going to ramble through all the ad reads here, guys, and mention our great friend here, David R. Cherry, the Cherry Law Firm, the best workers' compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law lawyer in the state of Pennsylvania. Check out his website, cherryinjurylaw.com, or give him a call, 610-565-0300, and let him fight for you and get you what you deserve. Again, 610-565-0300, cherryinjurylaw.com. Finally, you want a place to watch round 4 of the 3M Open? Go to Dolan's Bar down there in Ridley Park. Been there for 65-plus years, the quintessential Irish-American dive bar. Great food, great times. DolansBar.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, right there. Tell PJ you heard about him right here on Fairway to Heaven on EOP. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe, that follow, retweet button. Fairway to Heaven every night, every Tuesday night, 6 p.m., right here on Edge of Philly Sports.
I just can't believe that the Phillies are going to win the World Series and the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl in the same year.
I don't think so.
What a year for us.
Stop with the Lions Super Bowl stuff right there. Not happening. Not a chance.
Big Jared Goff fan, though. Fantasy for me. Just saying.
Yeah, I do. I'm actually I actually talked about Jared Goff on the morning show a little bit today about how I think the Rams did him dirty and Detroit really made out well with that. Even though the Rams made out well by getting the Super Bowl, I think the Lions made out well too. But then we're not talking football on this show. We're talking golf on this show. And it's lineup build time. All right. So, Steve, kick us off with your first pick in your lineup.
All right. And I'm going to take Sam Burns and let you guys fight over Finau.
I like it. Just get the guy you like right off the bat.
Sammy Burns. I like it. Well, I'm going to he's not going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Finau.
Gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate you doing it so I didn't have to. And I'm just going to take the other top guy at the board that I like and go Pattaya. All right. So I'm just going to go Pattaya, and I'm just going to get.
That was the most anticlimactic first round ever.
I know. It really is. And I'm just going to take the other guy that I like a lot, Rico Hui, with my second pick right there. So.
All right. I'm going to go with this week's winner, Cam Davis, with my pick.
Ooh, you're just calling your shot. That's like pointing for a home run right there.
Yeah. Probably asking for it.
Okay. Steve, you're on the board with 2 picks.
Let's go. I'm going to go Harry Hall.
Airy.
And
I think it's Airy Hall.
where is he?
Airy Hall.
Yep. And Austin Eckroat.
He's in my player pool this week, for sure. Jason?
All right. I am going to go with somebody that we have not talked about, but I love him this week. Patrick Fishburne.
Who?
Exactly.
Patrick Fishburne. All right, got it.
Third place last week at the Barracuda, 15th in the ISIS Challenge or whatever it's called.
The ISIS?
Yeah, that might not be what it's called. Something like
I think we might need to edit that word out of the show right there.
The ISCO.
ISCO.
That's what it is.
ISCO. Yep. All right, there we go. All right, so that's good. I'm just going to take every guy that I like in this.
We're going to be popping up on some weird Twitter pages tonight.
Yeah. The algorithm is going to spike for all the wrong reasons here. Yeah. It is 100% spiking the wrong way here today. Sorry. All right, I'm just going to knock out all my favorite picks here by pick 4, 3, and 4, and I'm going to go Johnny Vegas, and I'm going to go Chan Kim with my next 2 picks.
And all right.
Then I'm going to get different with the rest of it, I think.
I'm going to need a second now. All my picks are gone.
Dead air. Steve, what's up, Steve? How you doing?
I'm going to go.
Hello.
Another guy we didn't talk about. I'm going to go Max Gracerman.
I did see him pop up on some other people's conversation. So, yeah.
Dude's been really good.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, and just so I'm not picking the same lineups that I did as well.
Yeah, I know I've got my first 4 names on other lineups, so I got to get different here.
Yep.
I don't dupe my
own. I'm going to go Kurt Kitayama.
Kurt Kitayama. And who else?
Just because I know he's like right there on the outside looking in, and he's one of those. And then I'm also going to go. Give me Griot.
Damn it.
I was just pre-filling in my next 2 picks, and I just put Grillo on it. Didn't think anybody was going to mention them, but there you go. Good for you. Way to snipe me. Good job.
All right, I'm going to go with, let me see here. What am I going to go with? Sorry.
This is where it becomes tough, though. This is that part where it becomes tough.
Because there's only so many names that we really like this week, you know?
I'll go Lee Hodges.
8K and 7K.
Lee Hodges. Yep.
It's a good, solid, strong pick right there. I can get behind a Lee Hodges lineup right there. All right, well, I'm going to go with Keeks with my next pick. Which leaves me 8,600, which I can't take Grillo now. So we will go Nick Dunlop. So my lineup finished off. I got Pattaya, Hui, Vegas, Kim, Keegan Bradley, and Dunlop.
Keegan Bradley. Nice.
Update entry. It's locked. It's official.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Mark Messier.
Mark Messier.
Mac Messner.
I do think of Mark Messier every time I see his name in a player pool. I really do. All right. So you got Cam Davis, Fishburne.
I was so happy with my first 4 picks, and the last 2 did not go the way I
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I was happy with my first 5 picks, and then somebody else had to say Grillo's name before me. Yeah, don't pump your fist. Bam, from fairway to heaven.
Give me Pendrith. Give me Taylor Pendrith.
Gotcha. All right, Jason. Give us an update on our one and done standings here. I know I had a slightly better week than you, but I'm still massively behind you.
So you had a good week. I had Fleetwood, who did not make the cut. You had Morikawa. So you made up about $300,000. I have 11,321,000, and you have 7,975,000. So I am.
So I still have literally no chance.
No, I'm up by one win. One win gets you right back in.
I said I need 2 wins to get back in here.
Maybe 2.
Yeah. All right. So go with your one and done.
Well, I'm about to pick the winner this week, so I don't know. I'm about to pick Cam Davis. So
all right, you can go with Cam Davis. All right, so that's fine. You're Cam Davis. I'm going to go with Rico Hoy.
Nice.
Rico, I'm going to go boom or bust. Either he's going to win and I'm going to make the big comeback, or he's going to miss the cut and I'm just going to continue to fall flat on my face here this week.
I can't wait till we finish this.
You guys think it'll be someone's first win this week?
Absolutely. Well, Pataya. I actually think Pataya wins this week, which would be his second win of the year. Hoy would be his first win. Oh, when was the last time? When was the last time Johnny Vegas won?
I have no clue.
Hold on, I'm pulling them up because I did. So my bets this week, I did 22-1. I made a pretty big bet on Bataya. Then I made a small little bet at Vegas, 55-1, and Hoy 60-1. They were my other 2 bets. Hoy could win. I really do think he's been playing well enough. Johnny Vegas has got 3 wins on his career. The last 2 of them at the Canadian Open. Last one being in 2017. So he's got 2 wins: the Canadian Open, and the Amex, and that's it. So, I guess Johnny Vegas could win. There's some win equity there, I guess, and Hoy being his first, it would be another first timer. So, Jason, any bets this week?
I do. Can you go first? Never mind.
I just gave you my. I only got 3. I just gave them out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my card. So I have Bataya, 22-1. I have Clanton, 28-1. I have Pendrith, 35-1. I have Cam Davis, 40-1, and Jake Knapp, 70-1.
And you start hitting a couple outrights, all of a sudden your betting card gets bigger and bigger every single week.
It's 5 every week, bro.
Man, it's bigger and bigger. Steve, you got any bets or anything you like this week?
Outright, I got Sam Burns plus 1,800, and then Austin Eckroat plus 5,500, and then top 20s. I got EVR, Jason's favorite this week, plus 320, and then Harry Hall plus 500, and then Patrick Rogers plus 360.
Gotcha.
To be clear, I do really like EVR. I'm actually going to play him in my player pool this week. I just worry about him with the water because my man likes the water a lot.
Too much.
Brings back Miles who? Miles Davis? I don't know who you're talking about. We got a golf show going. I don't know any golfers named Miles. Anyway, one final question before we wrap this up. I want to have a little fun. Our good friend Brian Kirshner, or BK, as we like to call him, shared a post of a guy missing a hole-in-one by like literally an inch. And it brought up an interesting question. I put it out on Twitter, got a lot of responses on it. What would you boys prefer? To miss your first hole, unless you guys already have hole-in-ones, which I don't have a hole-in-one in my life. Would you rather miss a hole-in-one by an inch or just miss the green completely? Because to me, missing a hole-in-one by an inch would drive me so completely insane that I would rather not miss it that closely. I'd rather just miss the green. And everyone told me on Twitter that I'm nuts because a birdie's a birdie any way you look at it, and you don't get enough birdies on your scorecard, which is obviously true with me because I make maybe 1 birdie every other round of golf. Jason, what would you prefer? To just almost hit that hole-in-one or just miss the green completely?
No, miss the green. 100% miss the green.
Yes,
because
yes.
Listen, a birdie, that's great, whatever. Well, it's not like I'm a professional golfer. I'm still going to shoot 100. So it's not like it really matters that much on my scorecard overall. So I would be way more mad. That's like losing out on a GPP by like 0.2 points. Like you'd be so furious.
Yeah.
No.
Steve, where do you fall into this conversation?
I'm going to say I would rather be at an inch away because it's like for how far in between that I do play golf and how far in between I would have a shot like that. Yeah, I'd be like, dang, I was so close. But as long as you make the birdie, because then that's the next thing is like, do you want to have that anxiety of like, oh man, like, because the people who I play with are going to go, you still have to hit. You have to make that. You got to put it on video. So then you just have to deal with that anxiety of it. Yeah. But I think
anxiety
for me, I'd be like, man.
The anxiety
tap
in birdie.
Well, and that's a good point too.
You imagine
you could take a picture of it, put it on social media. Like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, still, I'd rather miss
it. But it's got to be the video from the beginning of the shot.
Right.
One of
I
the guys
think-
in our group of golfers has had a hole-in-one, just one of the weeks I wasn't there. And it just, still to this day, he still talks about that one moment of that one hole-in-one. I don't think I've ever put a tee shot on a par 3 within 5 feet. I really don't think I've gotten even that close. So it's not something that I'll probably ever have. And if I do ever get a hole-in-one, it'll be just pure damn luck. Because, yeah, it just ain't happening for me.
Even when I put it 5 feet from the hole, I knew it was pure luck. The way it hit off the hill, and then the way that the wind was blowing. It was a beautiful fall morning. I was like, hey, all of it added up.
You
to
hit it off a
5-footer,
tree.
and it was great.
It ricocheted off a tree trunk 40 yards to the left, and then ricocheted back onto the green. It still counts.
Exactly. Yep.
If it goes in, that's like I said at the beginning of the show. There ain't no pictures on the scorecard, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Good point.
Yeah, there you go, guys. We got to wrap this up, guys. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, retweet button. Everybody have fun week. Everybody have a great week betting and building your lineups for the 3M Open. Like I said, a very important week for a lot of golfers. I was just looking a few minutes ago. Even somebody like Jordan Spieth, who's not in this field, he's only 6 spots clear of making the playoffs this year. So it's a very important week or two on the PGA Tour. Guys, are you guys Olympic guys? Will you be watching Olympics, golf, and everything else in the coming weeks here?
I love all the Olympics. I was just telling Jamie that today. I'm like, I love everything. I love swimming, gymnastics, golf, you name it. I'll be watching all of it. So
I mean, even my wife, who doesn't watch anything sports related, she's like, "Have you seen these Simone Biles, videos here?" I'm like, "Yeah,
amazing. Yeah,
she's pretty freaking amazing and everything." Steve, yeah. I love the Olympics, Steve. It's like something about the playing for your country. Just, I love it.
It's my favorite thing. And then, so the union got 2 guys playing on the Olympic team who are going to be starters. My daughter swims year round, so she loves watching the swimming events and just watching the best athletes from around the world, even not just the U.S. guys. Even, the stuff that they're able to do is incredible. And it's like, man, you stay up all hours too to watch it. It's the best.
For your daughter for swimming with Katie Ledecky, I mean, the greatest female swimmer of all time.
So, yep.
Absolutely. So, guys, we'll be back next week with the Wyndham Classic. Same time, 6 p.m. right here, Edge of Philly Sports. Make sure you hit the like, the share, and subscribe button. Everybody have a great day. And as we always end every show, guys, bubbles up to you.